The crowd says it all. After 18 days, President Hosni Mubarak has resigned. It was left in the end to Vice-President Suleiman to make that brief statement on Egyptian state television. He said that President Mubarak has given up his post as president and has asked the armed forces to be in charge of the country's affairs. It's 12 minutes past 16 hours GMT. This is Al Jazeera on quite an historic day. The protesters there chanting now in Tahrir Square, the people have brought down the regime. History in the making. Let's get a view now from Ayman, our correspondent, who's been there throughout the protests in central Cairo. Ayman, President Mubarak has gone.
Adrian, after nearly 30 years in office, nearly 11,000 days, on January 25th, thousands of Egyptians frustrated by what they have described as tyrannical rule, oppressed for so many years, with nothing more than just strong determination and their willpower, really took to the streets all across the country in unprecedented protests to speak and to be heard. And tonight, after all of these weeks of frustrations, of violence, of intimidation, of many of them giving up their lives, the sacrifice to be heard, today the people of Egypt undoubtedly have been heard, not only by their president, but by the people all around the world. And you can hear it for yourself in Liberation Square. It is truly a historic moment, not only for every Egyptian, not only for Tunisians who inspired what happened here, but indeed for Arabs all around the region, for people all around the world that have been seeking their freedom for so many years.
Ayman, let's just go over the last couple of hours. We began to get word that Hosni Mubarak had left the capital for Sharm el-Sheikh, and then news that we were going to get a presidential statement on Egyptian television. It was a statement that lasted all of what, 20, 30 seconds, no more than that. And it was left to the Vice President Suleiman to do it.
Indeed, you know, when we look back at the past 24 hours, so much confusion, so many different reports coming out about what is taking place, trying to read in between the lines from the statements that came out of the military, that communique, you know, when the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces convened, what did that mean? Today we have that answer because, as you said, it didn't take long for it to become apparent what was happening behind the scenes. You can look back certainly with a great degree of retrospect and conclude that perhaps what was happening over the past 24 hours was indeed that transfer of authority from the president to the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces. The Vice President making the statements. You know, one of the most ominous signs that we started looking into that things were changing was Egyptian state media. In the past 24 hours, the tone of their coverage changed. We were seeing things that we had never seen before in Egyptian media. The Vice President coming out today in those brief statements and essentially now saying that the military will be running the country. Certainly the end of one chapter, but the beginning of a much more important chapter now for the people and for the military.
Yeah, before we start talking about what happens next, Ayman, let's talk about the last 24 hours then. How do we explain what happened then? President Hosni Mubarak came out less than 24 hours ago and made that speech which so disappointed the people there in Tahrir Square and insisted that he was